During the United Nations General Assembly in New York in 27 September 2024, when it was Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's turn to speak, more than half of the diplomats turned their backs on Netanyahu and walked out of the assembly in protest. The message was very clear that Israel's bombing of Gaza and Lebanon. Speaking of Gaza alone, over 42,000 innocent people, including women and children, have been killed and millions displaced in the past year. This war can take more terrible form. The world saw it on this October 2024 when Iran fired 200 ballistic missiles at Israel from a distance of 300 kilometers. And by 2nd October, the report was that Israel had threatened Iran with a counter-attack. Arab countries from all sides of the Middle East surrounded the small Israel who so much power. What is the reason why the major powers of the world have failed to stop Israel despite repeated warnings? It is important for us to have some understanding of the situation before we can understand the real strength of Israel. This issue of Israel and Palestine has been going on since they both did not exist. The current situation is that Israel has pushed the Palestine into a small strip called the Gaza Strip, spread over an area of only 360 square kilometers. This territory is not easy to get out of or enter. On one side is the Mediterranean Sea, on one side is Egypt. On the other is Israel. Asia goes here when it needs to, and that too when Israel wants it. For this reason, the international community believes that the Gaza Strip is the world's largest open prison. Gaza is controlled by Hamas, an Islamic organization. Israel's retaliatory action has begun in October last year, when thousands of rockets were fired at Israel are still ongoing. The biggest losers are the local people of Gaza who are being pushed into this year against their will. More than 42,000 people, including children, were killed. Thousands of people were left homeless and injured, hard to count. Gaza, once a city, is now a pile of millions of rubles. Israel says it has done and will continue to do this to eradicate this militant wing. To escape the Israel invasion, the local people of Gaza are left with only one option, which is to leave Gaza and go to Panhel in Lebanon. Yes, the same Lebanon where Israel airstrikes are going on these days. But this task is not so easy. First from Egypt through the Red Sea to enter Jordan, then from there to Syria and finally to Lebanon. Hezbollah, a major Islamic state, has considerable influence in Lebanon. But who is the Hezbollah? Some are in Lebanon in 18th century Israel, South Lebanon. A famous group called Hezbollah emerged to compete with Israel. This group dropped Israel out of Lebanon and has been a Lebanese group and Islamic organization ever since. Voters say the party has more and stronger support than Lebanon. Since this anchor came, it was answer for Israel, and the day of conflicts between them became a common one. But after taking control of Gaza last year, he has continued to openly support the Palestinians. Now here is a new problem for Israel. Because it was easy to attack Gaza, but now they have to call for them in Lebanon too. Now Israel had a big reason to play propaganda in Lebanon. They believe that is why the genocide in Gaza started. On September 17th and 18th of 2024, more than 3 years of these call space and radio sets exploded simultaneously. Israel was targeted for this call and many Israel rockets were fired. The next day, Israel began airstrikes in southern Lebanon and thousands of people were forced to flee their homes. The commander of this group, Hassan Nasrallah, was killed in this operation. On the other hand, different countries around the world have tried their best to end the war before the situation in the Middle East worsens, and many countries have also criticized Israel. Speaking only about the US, on 30 September 2024, according to the authorities, the US announced $300 million in aid to the Palestine in Gaza. On March 7, 2024, US President Joe Biden announced the construction of a military port to help Gaza. On February 27 of this year, the US also announced $53 million in immediate aid. After all, what is the reason for not being able to control the small Israel surrounded by Arab countries on all sides? This issue has also been raised in the UN Security Council 3 times in the last 1 year, but 3 times when a ceasefire agreement was reached at the Security Council, the US used its veto power to overturn the decision. Yes, the same America that announced billions of dollars in aid to Gaza. On the one hand, President Joe Biden says that the war is not for anyone. On the other hand, America has also used the veto power in the United Nations. Not only that, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, 69% of the weapons Israel imported between 2019 and 2023 came from America. What's more, America provides Israel with $3.8 billion worth of military aid each year. All this information is publicly available. People say the US supports Israel even as it calls for an end to attack on Gaza. This is why wars are increasing instead of decreasing, which may take their from in the Middle East in the future. This is why wars are increasing instead of decreasing, which may take their form in the Middle East in the future. But there is an important question, that why America is doing this. The answer to this question comes from religion. According to a study by Wheaton College, USA, there is a very large population in America, about 35 to 40%, who have full faith in the Bible and follow it. Many of these believe that Israel is from according to the Bible.